Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome to our board master, Brother Joe Huang, Hualien Dharma team, brother and sister around the world, to this Saturday Hualien Dharma talk. Today, I'm Sister Mabel here, and I'll be doing opening today. Next one. So, I will be sharing a short reception speech from Master. A heartwarming dialogue session with Suchi volunteers from Winding region on 24th March. Diligently cultivate our true nature, widely create good affinities. We carry suffering, karma, and ignorance accumulated over many lifetimes, and this can become harder to remove over time. Even so, we must diligently cleanse our minds in a timely way. With a little more effort, patience, and wholehearted sincerity, we can gradually eliminate ignorance and afflictions. In this life, we should strengthen our spiritual cultivation and stay consistently mindful of our thoughts and nature. By going among people and putting the Bodhisattva path into action, we create good affinities, life after life, and walk steadily in the Dharma. Accepted by Sister Ho Sing Chin from Suchi, Singapore. So, Kan En for Master Teaching. Now let us send our sincere prayers into the 10th direction. May the Saha land be free from disaster and be peace be well in the world. Let us sing the prayer song with sincere thanking. Okay, let's put our hands together.
In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. All my heart is filled with sincere prayer. From all corners of the world, let us join our hearts and pray for a world of harmony and peace. In my heart, I feel deep gratefulness. May all the Buddhas hear my prayer. All united with one heart, let us end our hate with love. May there be no suffering hereafter.
May all minds be purified, may there be peace in the community, and may May there be no disaster in the world. Next, let's pray for universal love and blessing. With loving respect, gratitude, and confidence, let us wish every person in our lives a healthy body and enlightened mind and total fulfillment in universal love. Now let us expand this consciousness to include every person in the world and every being in the universe. Let us unify our love, make this wonderful world even better. Let us all immerse ourselves in the joyful embrace of universal love. We hear the wonderful fairy that is right out to lead us to sing homage to the super dance, to take respect for this teaching and explanation to Buddha and Master Chen Yen by making three sincere vows. Let's rise. Put our palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. And also about Master who joined us today. So next, the agenda. Today we are started with Huang for our Dharma insight, and also Sister Avaley from City UK and Sister Huey Yi from City Taiwan. So okay, so next pass to invite Sister Suching for the week. Sister Suching, over to you.
Thank you so much, Sister Mabel. Okay, last week we didn't have a sharing, so I will show you the sharing from 2 weeks ago on the 28th of March. So the first one, Brother Joe said, we must observe the way we ingest our daily feelings, avoiding processed thoughts and all those bitter mental dealings. Brother Joe says, the mind is like a storehouse for remains, storing every joy and all our many heavy mental stains. Chapter 1 sets the stage before the Buddha starts speaking. In chapter 2, the master begins his actual teaching. Brother Joe describes how the students show a humble intention. They ask for the Dharma with a very deep devotion. Two separate questions ask how we reach a higher station. For ourselves and for others, they seek a firm foundation. Observe all things and see the nature of the whole to bring a sense of peace to every living soul. Stay humble when your own opinions are very strong, admitting to yourself when you might be in the wrong. Self-reflection helps to clear the clutter from our head so we can walk a kinder and softer road instead. And then we had Brother Sean, who spoke about love in Africa. In Susan Bay, the houses stand upon the rotting layers. But Brother Sean hears the whispers of the many local prayers. The children there are living in a very crowded city, looking for a life that's not based on pity. The history of Ebola brought the mission to the land. When a local brother lent a truly helping hand, they moved from giving rice to teaching them to sow, helping local people find the best way they can grow. With micro grants, the villagers started working as a team, realizing that a better life is more than just a dream. They plant the rice together on the green and open field, waiting for the day when they will see their harvest yield. They made some laws to keep the drainage clear and clean. A brighter spirit in the land is clearly being seen. The youth have started clubs to spread the seeds of kindness, leaving all the many days of dark and heavy blindness. And then lastly, we have Brother Anthony, who spoke about guardians of the morning light. At the school gate, standing tall at the early morning hours, Brother Anthony brings a gift that is better than the flowers. He stands there at the door at 6:45 a.m. to offer words of kindness to every one of them. At first, the children walked right past and did not speak, but kindness grows even when the voice is very weak. He kept on showing up even when there was no sound. planting seeds of love upon the quiet school ground. One mother sent a message that he keeps on his phone, telling him that her child no longer feels all alone. The child urges her family to leave the house very early because she wants to see the papa she loves dearly. The guardian of light is simply showing up each day to tell every child that they will be quite okay. They all have we all have a school gate where we can surely stand to bring a little love to the communities that we influence. Okay, Kan'en, and thank you for listening. I'll stop share and hand over to Brother Robert to introduce our next speaker. Over to you, Brother Robert.
Kanan, Su Ching for another splendid poetic summary, always so eloquent, so heartfelt, and so beautifully expressed. Grateful for the warm sincerity and the grace through your writing, Sister Su Ching Kanan. And of course, Kanan, to Sister Mabel for the beautiful opening. Okay, good morning, brothers and sisters. Welcome to our Saturday Dharma Hualien session. Okay, now it's my honor to introduce our core and founding speaker, Brother Joe Huang. Brother Joe Huang has always been there to guide us in our English-speaking community, sharing his wisdom. Over to you, Brother Joe.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother Robert. Good morning, everybody. And it's always an honor and pleasure to be on this platform, to be sharing and also making, I think, our day or our week ends on a good note or starts on a high note, depending on how you want to think of this. First of all, I think we should do a weekly update on how Master is doing. These couple of days, we have started. In fact, yesterday was the first day of our official the pilgrimage trips, where different parts volunteers and also our I think faithful followers, because it doesn't mean that all of them are Tzu Chi volunteers, but there were a lot of faithfuls. There were a lot of, I think, Buddhists or just people, kind-hearted people that wanted to do something, whether for themselves or the society, for the world, or for the celebration of Tzu Chi. They actually come back to Hualien, and then they'll take on this pilgrimage where you actually could go to several different places to learn about the backstories of Tzu Chi, of Master. And then in the afternoon, when it's not as hot, we would do the pilgrimage, where it used to involve walking and also bowing practices. But now, due to I think it was I think back in 2021 or 22, due to COVID. And I think Master is probably the only one that I know of talks about that when we are bowing down, okay, and you have your whole body is sweating, right? You're chanting, and so your sweats and you're chanting, your mouth is facing down, all your very personal your personal excretions or fluid is now on the ground. And guess who gets to go through that next? Or the person behind you. So that's what I meant. Nobody said this. I think it wasn't even a medical suggestion that we should stop the pilgrimage bowing practices. But it was Master. Master thought that this wasn't right. We shouldn't be doing this, where all the people, everybody, they're inheriting the person in front. Their sweats and all of that. And so Master says, no, we will not have any of that. So we're just gonna have the walking meditation, right? So yesterday was the first of our walking meditation practices in part of this pilgrimage, official pilgrimage for the anniversary. And it starts yesterday, officially first. And so we have, as usual, overpacked. And the reason why I mentioned this was that before the meeting yesterday, Master, heard all the broadcasting, right? There was chanting, and people are very, they're very pious, right? And so Master walked out, not onto the main hall, but walked to the back of the meeting room, and Master could see, across the field, and see the group of people. They're being very faithful, and they were singing, and obviously there's no bowing. We made sure of that, right? But yesterday in the morning, it's kind of like today, kind of chilly. I'm having a little bit allergy in the morning because it's usually a little bit chilly. And so I thought yesterday was going to be great, right? But no, at around 10 or 11, it began to be very, very good weather. And then by the time that we started, it got really hot. And so people were coming in. And so yesterday, Master, before the meeting, were outside and was, looking on. And Master just looked on and said, why are they stopping? And apparently they're just stopping because we don't want to keep on walking. And, you wanted to slow down a little bit, right? Because you used to have the bowing. Now you don't. You just, take one step and you stop and you sort of, you sort of do a little bit of meditation, walking. You sort of calm down. You sort of keep your mind and heart in a very still place and you chant, right? But Master thought that it was too hot. And if you're just basically, if you're just staying still, it gets really, really hot. And Master says that it's probably better if people keep on walking. It's even better. It's harder if you stand still. But if you're moving, it seems like it's not so hot. Now it's all psychological, and this is Master's belief. I don't know. I think if it's hot regardless. but Master really cared, and she made sure that, she said that it's hotter. It feels hotter if you are not moving, if you're standing still. And so today we're all changing, today we're just going to be taking smaller steps, but always moving. So it's not about how long you stay on the sun, but if you think you're moving, it's better. It's almost like there's a shade in front of you, and it's better that you are moving constantly, right? So yesterday, while we were doing the pilgrimage, we were called over, and Master was very clear, on what she observed, and she told us very clearly. And so this is good. Every time I get something this crystal clear, like Master explained why, and Master explained what we should do. And this is something that's, I'll tell you that, honestly, this is great for us because we're the one doing, we don't have to guess. We don't have to think for ourselves. It sounds bad. We don't have to think for ourselves, but we don't have to do a lot of contemplation to figure out something like this. Got it, Master. Master. And before Master told us, that Master told us the whole thing. Obviously there were other Dharma masters of the abode. They were next to Master and they were explaining, they were relaying. That's how we know, right? These, masters, they will actually relay this message, and we will be asking questions. And obviously, they will not be able to fully, transcribe what happened and what the master really want to say. They just basically say, "This is not good. We need to change." And so we were there's a lot of speculation. Does it mean that we're out in the sun too long? And maybe, and there were people, we were saying that, okay, so let's just not, stand still. Let's just take smaller steps but anyway, so this is all good. Yesterday was good. And Master was, very attentive. It's very, in terms of health, in terms of the way she looks. And she was very, firm in telling us, what we needed to do. So that was good. So the past week, I think last week I talked about there was some kind of cloud over us, and there are things that's happening. It's gotten better. It's gotten a lot better. I think things are getting sorted out. And this is, I think this is the thing, right? That we're gonna find some issues that's going to be very difficult, and we're just going to have to deal with it and move on and get over that obstacle. And that's that's what Tzu is doing, and we're going to get over that. Is it going to be for the better or for the worse? I don't know, but we know that we're going to get over it. We're gonna hop over it. We're gonna step over it, and I think that's what's going to happen. So we'll have to wait and see. But I definitely think that Master is regaining her energy.
Good.
Master's regaining
Good.
the vitality. Like I said last week, I think when I said last week, for the past, I think 2-3 weeks, you could see that Master was sapped, out of the energy. You could see that she grew visibly tired and visibly drained. But this week has been much better. So I think that's something that we all have a reason to celebrate. We all have a reason to be joyous about. And I don't know is it because the thing is getting better. I'm not sure what the things right now the issues are. Or rather, I should not say too much. But there are things that's being ironed out as usual. I mean, this is an organization of people. So there are going to be people matters, right? So things are going to be ironed out soon. I hope. I don't know what's the final thing that's going to be, but yeah. So I saw Master yesterday, the way she talks and the way that she was explaining things to us in a very worried, as usual, because she was worried that it was too hot for all the people, and before we report to Master, we all had the agreement that we weren't going to do too much explaining. We're just going to listen to Master, right? Sometimes, Master would be saying this, and then we'll explain, like, oh, we're doing this. And so we all agreed because Master was on her way to another meeting. So I think it was with Saint Martin from the Americas. And so we knew that we couldn't take up too much of her time. We couldn't be explaining. There couldn't be a back and forth conversation, discussion about what's going on. So, we agreed that we're just going to say to Master, we apologize. We're going to change. We're going to modify. And Master explained herself very clearly. And that was very good. We were just right away, on our way. We have our meetings right after it. We knew how to change it. This is like a great day for us, where we don't have to speculate and think and guess what does it really mean. Sometimes we guess wrong, and you could understand. Sometimes the Master is in a hurry, so she'll just say, okay, do this. And then we're like, how? Are we sure we're going to do this? And everybody has different opinions. Anyway, that was a good day. So we saw Master. It was really, really good. And so everybody, we should just all be sort of okay. All right. So not to worry. Last week wasn't good. This week is really much, much better. All right. So let's continue on to our today's topic. We're continuing on the Sutra of Infinite Meanings. As Sister Suchin so wonderfully put it. We're now into the second chapter. I wanted to get through the beginning, the recaps quickly, because I think we've been doing this for a couple of weeks now. 2 questions that were asked basically is, how does one achieve, to become the Buddha? And that's what's the question, right? The great magnificent Bodhisattva, that was the name of this student, that was disciple, that was asking the teacher, the Buddha, this question. How can we become the Buddha? That's essentially the question. So how would the Buddha answer? Well, the Buddha said, good man, okay, this one Dharma door is called infinite meaning. What it means is that the name of the teaching is called the infinite meanings. And so this second part reaffirms that this is the answer. Bodhisattva who wish to practice and learn infinite meaning should observe all things. So first part is telling, as in answering the question, how does one become the Buddha? The Buddha then said, one person to become the Buddha is through the Dharma door called infinite meanings. And if you want to practice this, you should start by observe all things. Okay, so that's the setting, right? The name of the Dharma is called the infinite door. I'm sorry, the name of the Dharma is called the infinite meanings. And there is only one Dharma door. So there isn't 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only one door, and it's called infinite meanings. And you should do this by starting with practicing observing all things. And then you will see, when you observe, that nature and appearance of all things have always been empty and still, neither large nor small. Like empty spaces, they're non-dual. What does that mean? So let's first of all take it apart one at a time. So to obtain Buddhahood transform, you need to self-reflect, observe yourself, right? Observe yourself. And then you have to resolve, because it's not always easy to see and observe. For example, if you think about bird watchers have to sort of stand still, lie there, and be able to observe the bird, you from far away. But you have to be really stand still, right? You observe bird, or you observe the constellation, the stars in the sky, right? Or you are just with as many different occupations and professionals. You would have to have this resolve. You have to stay still, remain resolve on your objective to do this, even if it's just observing. And that's the key. Even when you're observing, you have to have this resolution, right? And so Master also added that you must be humble. And this is something that I didn't know, that I didn't read, I didn't get from the Buddha's text, from the sutra. But Master added on that Buddhist practitioners must be humble. And Master added that this is the attitude. We talked about the attitude of the students being very respectful, to ask the question, to humbly asking for an answer. Now, the Buddha replied that you need to practice the one Dhamma door called the infinite meanings. And all those that wish to practice this infinite meanings just begin by observing. So we observe self and we observe others. But you need to have this resolve. You need to stay still. You need to remain, observe until the end. So it's almost like you're watching an experiment, a scientific experiment. You can't just say, oh, I got what I wanted and I'm done. You have to see through until the end of the experiment to make sure that you record all the things. So you have to have this resolve, stick to it. And then you must be humble. This is the attitude to observe. If you don't have this attitude, then you're going to see things and you're just going to be like, oh, sure, this is just going to be the way I see it is this. No, it's just not the way you see it, the way that it was seen. And you have to be humble. There are things that's not, you have to observe through the lens of many different perspectives. That's the way to observe. So Master talks about, how would you truly understand what you observe if you have a strong opinion? If you already think that a particular person is guilty of something, then there's no point in observing. You already give him the verdict, right? So being humble, right? Observe with mindfulness and being humble, that you are able to see what's truly out there, what is truly the appearance. So Buddha talked about the nature and appearance of all things have always been empty and still. What does it mean? Empty and still. These are two of something that's sort of not very similar ideas, right? Empty actually means that it's constantly moving. It's empty, it's because it hasn't been formed yet. So the fact that it's empty means it has a lot of potential. It could become this, it could become that, but it's not there yet. So it has full of potential. Nature appearance is always transforming. It's always slowly morphing into something as the affinities arise. And they have always been empty and still. What does it mean to be still? It means that it doesn't mean that it's not changing. It means that forever it's in a state that is constantly slowly changing. It's in this state. Still means it's perpetually in a state. What state is that? Changing. So that means what remains unchanged is the fact that everything always changes. This is sort of the idea that fixes that. It seems to be going against each other, the two ideas, but it's actually the same, of saying that what remains the same? Well, the idea that everything changes remains the same. So the idea is that nature, the appearance, they're always on the move. They're always in transition, right? So when you observe all things, keep an open mind, because what you see is large. It's slowly changing. So it's neither large nor small. You cannot quantify it. Neither arising nor ceasing. It's not beginning nor ending. So what all this very poetic or cryptic, something that's very confusing things here are telling us is that it's telling you when you see something large, when you observe something to be large, it doesn't always this, it's not always this large. It doesn't, maybe it wasn't this large 10 years ago, and it won't be this large 3 days from now. So you're only observing something that is right now at this moment, at this particular moment, at this particular time. So what the Buddha was explaining is that when you're observing, you have to keep a very open mind. And this is a part of being humble. You think you got it. You measure the dimension. You think you got it. It's not large or small, but you got a dimension. And you go like, I got it. Well, maybe the next day, it won't be the same dimension. Maybe it's something gonna change, right? So that's why we measure, our weight, right? So you step on the scale and then you sort of see the numbers. Does it change every day? Well, it sort of changes, right? It fluctuates, right? And it's a number that you probably don't like, but it fluctuates. This is what Buddha was saying, that when you observe, it's not just what you see. It's not just, what you see in front of you. It's changing. And the idea that it's changing is the way of Buddha, is Buddha's way of saying, well, if it's changing, tomorrow it's not going to be the same as today's, and yesterday isn't the same as today. So the idea of transforming, right? It's changing. It sets in very importantly, right? What seems this way hasn't always been this way and will not always be this way, right? What that means is the past is not the same as the present, and the present isn't the same as the future, okay? So what does that mean, right? What seems this way hasn't always been this way. What seems this way doesn't have to be this way. Now, this is even more the sort of the next step from what the Buddha says, right? So first, when you observe, you realize what it is now. Now, if you observe even further, if you are able to observe all the things around this particular object, you will see that what you observe hasn't always been like this, right? So for example, if you see a glass of water, and you see this glass of water, and you see it on the table, and you realize it hasn't always been like this, right? Because you take it out, you take the ice cold water from the fridge. And so right now it's room temperature, but before it's actually ice, okay? So you see this glass of water, and then you see before that there are droplets of water around the cup. That means it was cold, right? There was some condensation. So it hasn't always been like this. It was cold before. It was actually cold with ice in it, right? So that's the first thing. You see not just the present, but you also see the past. Then you see that it doesn't have to be this way. If you did not put it into the refrigerator, it didn't have to be cold. It could be the room temperature throughout. So now you're seeing the past. Now you're changing the past. It doesn't have to be like this. You didn't have to put it into the refrigerator. So if you didn't put it in the refrigerator, it won't come out cold. And that's what this observing is telling you. You see somebody, and then you see past who they are right now. You see into their past. They don't have to be like this. They're like this because they were like this, right? So you're saying that, this person is getting good grades or getting good grades, and he's like this because he's studying hard. But he did this to get good grades. But if he didn't study hard, he wouldn't be like this, and he won't have this good grade in the future. So what this empty and still is telling you, that it's always changing, but it doesn't have to be like this. If you change something in the past, if you do not put the glass of water in the refrigerator, it wouldn't have to come out cold. It doesn't have to. What this is saying is that when you observe, not only do you see the past affinities, but you also realize the key aspect where it became like this. You could also, if you were to make the same decision again, you could make the decision differently, so it didn't have to be in the refrigerator. And that's what this observation goes in. So it's much deeper than just making sure, seeing that, oh, it's red, it's blue, it's white, it's hard, it's large, it's small. It's not like this. It's much thorough observation that the Buddha was talking about. That for every practitioner, for those of us that wanted to observe and practice the infinite meanings, we got to observe much deeper than what's on the surface. It's not just to identify what it is, but it's to be able to say that what it was before, that's why it is now, and what it will be if nobody touches it, it's going to be like this in the future. But we also identify the factors where if we didn't do this in the past, this is not what it's going to be. And if we do something about it now, it will not be like this. It will not be like this in the future because we changed it. Okay? So that's the past, present, and future that we are observing as well. That's what the Buddha was explaining, that it's not just the way you see it. It won't be like this. It looks to be still, but it's full of potential to be changed. And it was already like this and changed the way it is now, and it will be changing if we apply on top of it what we are trying to do to it. Okay, so that's the observation. So today we just, move a little bit onto the sutra, but we're going to continue on next week on what did the Buddha actually tell us. And it's actually a lot longer, which is starting. And it gets very, very, very interesting very soon. So hopefully next week we have a much more advancing that will take us to this part that's very, very interesting. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Yeah, Kanan again, Brother Joe, for your unwavering dedication and consistently providing us all this enlightening sharing. Yeah, Kanan, so much. Okay, and of course the update of connect us to Hualien. Yeah, we hope, of course, all of us, we always hope and pray that Sangren will be always in tip-top health. Will always there to lead us. Okay, can we all on our video? We'll take a photo with Brother Joe, and of course Sister Avaley is over here. Sister Huey Yi, all the three speakers are here, and our sister who will take the photo, Sister Mabel. Yeah, please do that. Hi, Sister Moon. Hi, Sister Jin, Sister Riani, Brother Ho. Okay, done.
Okay, Kanan,
Okay,
everybody.
Kanan again, Brother Joe. Yeah. Okay, now we will move on to our sister Avaley from UK. The time I think should be about what, 12 midnight now? Sister Avaley?
Yeah, just midnight. Yeah.
Just midnight. Yeah, Kanan for joining us, Sister Avaley. She has been with us, I think, in February, I remember. All right, Sister Avaley.
Yeah.
Sharing with us that very touching refugee story from Jordan, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So today she's here again. And welcome, Sister Avaley. I think today she'll be with us with another topic, helping him find the way home. Yeah, I think very interesting and intriguing topic. Okay, over to you, Sister Avaley. Kanan.
感恩, dear Master and Dharma Masters and brothers, sisters, good morning. And it's very nice to share this story with all of you. And this is an emergency case in Manchester, around 2024. So it's nearly 1.5 years now. And so this is this story from the original. When the embassy passed the case to us, we thought it's quite simple. It's just helping a father to do the to accompany with him and help him to communicate with the school and help him to do the translation and also help him to bring his kid back to Taiwan. So I thought that will be quite simple and straightforward, and also should be quite easy and short term. But in the end, it's not like that. It's not only short term, and it become like not from the emergency case, but it become like a long term because we really don't know when it's going to the end. But because it's so many things happen in the middle, and it's a lot of things for us to learn as well. And also it's quite special is in this time, from the we thought the case should be our client is a kids, is this boy, but in the end, I thought we only accompany to the father because we haven't have the chance to see the child until the student until the very end. So that's how it starts. Is when we start is from the father already in the UK in the Manchester, and when he in Taiwan, he certainly founding his son, and he delete all his son delete all his media all the media account, and also left from the family group, and start to block everyone. And that's kind of signal. So when his father finding out his children start to doing that, then he trying to contact, but he lost the contact. So he can find his kids. The only way he can do is buy a ticket and come to the UK straight away, and then trying to find out where his son is. And that's a signal, and that's because like that, then we need to also talk to the school to find out where is the kids. And very lucky is when he arriving, he go to the accommodation first, and in the accommodation, and the accommodation manager, just reception manager, just told the father just his son already been sending by the he already take the ambulance and then sending to the mental hospital. So his father can very easy to locate where his son is. And when I be with the father, and because we go to visit him, and from the first few times, because I asking his father to double check is his son want to see us first, and he say it's okay, and then so also he won't we helping for do the translation and talk to the doctors, and also asking for the or doctor to discharge him and let him go back to Taiwan to carry on all the meditation, the treatment. But because his father have this thought, but I quite surprised is that his son is not actually agree with that. So when his son knew, and his father want to take him back to Taiwan. So he start to ban everything. He told the doctor he won't he doesn't want to share any medical information to anyone else. So no one allowed to know. And that's quite shock for the father because he feel like he is his father, so he is allowed to know. But in the UK, if the patient is more than 18 years old, and they have their right. So if the patient doesn't want the family knew anything about his information, and then the hospital won't sharing to us. So the only thing we can do is wait, just waiting outside the hospital. So his father just booked a hotel outside the hospital and then start to wait until discharge. So until he discharged, then he come out and he say after treatment he is getting better, so he want to carry on stay. And the father just say because the father just would like him to go back to Taiwan to carry on, but he feel like he is no problem at all. So the only way is father have to just let go, and also asking Tzu Ji to looking after him and trying to go closer to him. And then we do agree, but it's quite difficult because we've been visiting few times, and we try a lot of way, and he never show up. So it seems like it's quite normal, but actually it's everything seems like it's not right. So second time, after his father back to Taiwan, and then second time, then his father feel like because he knew he didn't show up, and then we can really get touch with him, and then he start to block the family again, the old signal. So his father during the Christmas time, his father have to come again to see the son, and then trying to bring the son home. But this time is also the same. His son doesn't want to go home. So and then his son just say he is really busy with his all PhD all work. So after Chinese New Year, from the Christmas until Chinese New Year, then he deciding then let him stay again, because he can force the children to go home if he doesn't want to. So the only way is just he go home by himself. But the truth is he actually never returned back to the school, and he never show up. We don't know where he been. He just look like he go to he been wake up and go out every day, but actually he is not. The school just sent us a letter, and also just describe, because after the first discharge, he never returned back to the school. So he is been, if he does, more than that, so many days he never returned. So they have to stop his visa, and also his student visa. So because like that, they have reporting to the immigration as well. So the only way is they have to try to that we sorting out and we talk to the student accommodation, the manager again, and the manager told us I think they thinking he is he really need the family support, and also he need the doctor as well. He need he need to go to the hospital because he doesn't look right. He's room is empty, and his hygiene have a problem, and he seems like he throw everything away, and no one know where is everything, and because he doesn't have anything, including clothes, of course. So that's why he looks like the homeless people. But he live in that room. That room is so clean and empty. So because like that, the father can come straight away, especially the UK start to changing. The Taiwan people come to the UK have to start to have the e-visa. So he can just buy the ticket and come straight away. So in that time, then but we also need to find out where is his son. And also we need to find out what's going on. So the school called the father just authorized me to talk to the school, and also let me talk to his consulate doctor, and also I calling to the 111. So it's everything. It's just that time I trying to find out what we can do, especially the parents they are really worried. So they really depressing as well. So they can see the children, so I have to trying to calm them down, but also we can see the children as well. Even we trying to go there, and then but he refused to open the door, so we just can't see him. So but very luckily, the 1 week later, the father come and he have the mission is this is a final trip. If the son is not go home, he won't go home as well. He have to take the son to go with him. So when the father arriving, and then we go to see the accommodation, and very luckily we see the boy is outside the building. He is smoking, and when the father see the son, where the outfit is he wear a oven glove. His shoes is like an oven glove, and the trouser is not his. Don't know where he found the trouser, and he's outside. The look is just like a homeless. His father is really heartbreaking. He is crying and then holding the son, but the son look like no emotion. He feel very strange why his father here. He asking father, why you come? Because I'm so busy, I have to go to school. Then the father just say, no, you never return. That's why I come here. And the school is going to stop all your course. And but he didn't, he just thought his logic that time is the logic is quite good. So his father asking me to try to explain to his son, but I think the son just trying to keep saying he go to school every day, and he got a very busy social life, and he got so many friends. He always party, but it's not. So we we just trying to let him know. So we knew this is not truth. And we knew you never return to school, and you never have a relationship with outside any friends or anything. I think that's when I trying to tell him like that and show him what's the schools the letter the school sending to me, and the all the information, and then he start to feel like he still say no, that's not true, and he doesn't believe. But I think he is start to getting quite angry about that. So he is so I feel if like that, I think I need to just step back. So I told the father I was asking another brother to come to company and help him for translate to the ambulance, to the doctors, and so I will step back. I think that's better way. So father keep apologize to me because he feel very sorry. His son is so he's shouting at me, and so he feels so sorry because he keep telling the son, this is my friend. You shouldn't treat my friend like that. But his son is not listening. But in the end, I just say, I think I need to go. So when I walking out, I I think he told his father he is going to smoking, and his father just okay, just standing waiting for the doctor arrive, and also waiting for the brother Will arriving at that 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 time, and he followed me. I didn't know, and I think no one know he followed me until I'm waiting for the taxi at a corner, and he come to me and then he's shouting at me and then I feel like he want to hit me. He almost hit me, but at very last minute, at the border, he very, very close to my face, and his palm is stopped there. So I trying to tell him, and I'm just come here to help. So I'm not trying to harm you or trying to do anything. But he doesn't believe. He even feel like I must be a spy or somebody. I'm not the person who living in the UK. I might be is come from somewhere, don't know, a very strange stranger, and then pretending is a 慈济 person. But actually, I'm I'm scam, or I'm just something is not real anyway. But I even show him my ID, the 慈济 ID, but he just not believe that. But that time because he spit. He even spit on me, and trying to do quite just trying to say the horrible words and to me. But in the end, when my taxi is arriving, then he is walking away. Then I just jumped into the taxi. Be honest, I'm so scared. Even in front of him, I still smiling. I show my face is still very calm, but I'm shaking. I actually is shaking just in front of him. I don't want to show my weakest part because but when I in the car, I call to the sister singing straight away, and then start to talk to her, and then I can't stop my tears because I'm so panicked and so scared. I never have the thing like this before. Even I tell myself, oh, it's okay, it's okay. But even right now, I still can remember that moment is I can't stop shaking. But I also have to let my emotion out first, because after all the emotion out, I have to think, what should I do next? I need to sorting out. I need to call the school to let them know what happened just earlier. I need to let the accommodation or the manager know, because that student accommodation, it has 300 students live in that big building. So I need to let them know, but also I need to let the father knows. But how to describe and how to let the father know and not guilty, that's very important, because I also don't want the boy feeling guilty, because one day when he awake, if he remember this part, I don't want he feel guilty or feel shame about that. So, but I can cover up. And also we need to change in the way to accompany the father and the son as well. So after coming back, I talked to the brother Will. I say, from now I'm going to stay back because the way he is showing me is let me suddenly realize I actually to let him face the point is he really doesn't want to face. I open up the part is I make him feel hurt. That's why he will trying to. That's kind of like if you're thinking if it's like an animal, if the animal injured, if you trying to touch the part he is injured part, he will be defense and also he will trying to scare all the he thinking maybe it's an animal enemy or something will trying to hunting him or hurting him. He will trying to scare you away. I think that's why he will choosing me and he will follow me, trying to scare me and then trying to asking me to make me scared. Then I won't carry on. I think that's the last strength he trying to protect himself. So because he is that I already breaking his castle. So it's a bubble. It's a kind of bubble I breaking up. I let him know where to hide. So that's why he is when he face me, he will trying to scare me, trying to hurting me. But so when I talk to his father, like let him father understand that, and also his father is feeling like very hopeless. But I told him, I said no, that means he still can make the choice. He still know something what he wants, what he doesn't want. So that means he still have the thinking. He is still have himself. So that's good sign as well. So not you don't need to feel guilty because that's something we just saw. So for me that's I need to let his father know even I stay back, but I will still be with him, but just not standing in front of his son. Be honest, at that time I still a bit scared to standing in front of his son as well. But I feel scared. I also feel heartbroken because I don't think this boy will hurt any stranger. He just sometimes he just trying to protect himself. So I just when we have so in that like something like this happen, it made all of us like the father and school and also the doctor, the team and the brothers, the will we become more clear and know how to carry on to be with him. And because sometimes something is not only by this way, so in this case that when I reporting to the school and reporting to the social worker, and then they know how to make it become like an emergency, and then they will send in the application form to the court and then asking the court and then the police and ambulance, everyone that then come to bring him to the hospital because we do agree we don't want to lie to him and trying to lie to him or kidnap him and to the hospital because one day when he is recovered and he back to normal, we don't want he have these kinds of bad memory. So we would like him to follow the just like the system he should do and just follow the system. So it's not his father's choice. It's not our choice. It's just by the law, by the accommodation system. So what he should do. So because like that, so when he been bringing back to the hospital, and after the treatment, every day the brother will and also the father will always asking, would you like to go home? And mom is waiting for you, and the who is waiting for you, and please, they are really want to see you. So suddenly one day, I think the maybe it's because the medicine is working, or maybe he already calmed down. We don't know what, but that day he suddenly say, okay, yes, let's go home. I don't want to be sending out by the UK border agency. I just want to go home because I want to go home, because I want to go. That's what he said. And then when we heard that, we should feel, or the father is really, really happy. Then he said, okay, I will book the air ticket straight away. So he booked the ticket for the next day, and then talked to the hospital, and the doctor just agreed. So the doctor just let him discharge straight away. So it's kind of like we want to bring him back. So we don't want him to changing any. We don't want anything changing. So that time when we just after we bought the ticket, then the brother will just take him to the airport, Manchester airport. But the accident happened again because the airline just refused him to attend. Don't want him to attend to the. Even we got the hospitals, they qualify, say he is suitable for a fit for flight, but they just don't let him to go to the boarding. They don't let him boarding. So I have to call to the Taiwan embassy again to asking him to talk to the Taiwan's airline, China Airline or EVA, see who is available. So in the end, we finding out EVA is available. So we booked the ticket straight away for the night, and then the driving from the Manchester and to the London. And after the boarding, we start to wait until the next day. They safely arriving, and then that we know. So that time we suddenly just feel like, oh, finally they are home. So very happy. And after he home, his father just start to be with him and do like the traveling and counseling, just keep company with him until now. And now I remember that this New Year, he sent me a message. He say he is totally recovered now, and now he is with his mom in the Norway to traveling, and he is totally recovered, and he start to do his work now. So for us, I feel like this journey is a very special journey, and thank you everyone to listen for my sharing for today. Thank you.
Yeah, Karen Sister Avaley, for your heartfelt sharing. You are so brave, and so compassionate. Your story is so touching, Sister Avaley. Yeah, I hope I can be as brave as you. I hope you can spread all this brave spirit to all of us, so that we can emulate. Yeah, I know deep inside you are shaking. I can feel, but I think you're compassionate, caring for all these so-called unfortunate people, make you to, move forward. Yeah. Okay, Karen Sister,
And
for this wonderful sharing. Okay, now we are back to Taiwan, to our sister Huey Yi. Sister Huey Yi, I think 5 months ago was with us, gave us a very touching sharing as well. Now I think we are glad to have her again. Sister Huey Yi, over to you.
Thank you so much, Brother Robert and everyone. And also thank you for the affinity and the opportunity to share a little bit of our progress. And feel free to ask any questions if you have. Just a quick clarification. The last time when I tuned in, yes, I was in Taiwan, but today I'm actually tuning in from Singapore, exactly at the Humanistic Youth Center, 人文青年中心. So I'm actually a staff member in Singapore supporting Tzu Chi's regional engagement work as well as our strategic partnerships, especially for partners at the UN, regional, as well as internally, how we can work together. That's why when Sister Xiu Ching asked if I can give a topic of today's sharing, I was thinking maybe walking hand in hand would be the ideal directions for us. And I learned that we will have a series of sharing too. So I hope this will help us to kickstart the directions, and then we can slowly, as we progress, to learn about some of the partners that we've been working with, why we go to certain working groups. The reason be it not just for us to, in Malay, we say syok sendiri, to feel happy about the people that we meet, but we also hope that as you go out and as you exchange your words and your experience with others, you may cross paths with them. So they will know you exactly like how we know them. So today's sharing was served with two directions. One, it's internally how we work together hand in hand, how some staff members or some volunteers are like Superman. 1 week ago, you see them here, 1 week later, you see them there. What is the purpose and how things are connecting? And then the second part will be talking about, I handpick a few partners so that we can learn about them and how's their impact on us and what they have been doing for us so that we can go into the regional space smoother. So I will hope that I use about 20 minutes to share our work, and then I will leave a small space for us to have any Q&A. It might be a little bit technical. So I will share my screen now. Let me know if you can see on the full screen mode.
Yes, can see.
Thank you. If I'm going too fast, please let me know too. Okay. So once again, welcome to Walking Hand in Hand with Neighboring Countries. I will feature a few neighboring countries from the Southeast Asia region, namely Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, and Philippines. I might quote one another at some point, so feel free. What glue us together, I definitely believe, is that when we have a common vision or when we have a common event. So I realized that we received a blessing from the CEO Office of Hualien to organize the very first Tzu Chi International Youth Conference, especially the overseas chapter in Singapore. So last year, August, it served as an avenue, not just for us to bring our internal youth together to co-create or to be the organizing committee, but at the same time, it also bring closer the Singapore-Malaysia team, especially Tzu team together. Other than that, because of the sensitivity of the country that we always cannot mention, so this is also an avenue, a third space for us to bring our stakeholders to come and learn. So become a very nice crossing of having the UN agencies, having our very experienced 故事伯, our decision makers, and the youth members or the 中青代 that we are trying to incubate, all come together, sharing the same synergy. So I want to kickstart this as one of the moment for us to work together. Then I realized that communication is very important because we might have what we want to do, but if we are not aligned, we might work very hard at different directions. So having to have a moment, sit down, a coffee talk among your decision makers or your direct superiors actually helped me to shape where I am heading to. So I share this particular photo because I find that the three of them has made very important life decisions for me and also become a very good mentor for me. indirectly. So it first started off with JJ Jiajian being my IYLP mentor. So for those who are in this room, you probably have learned that the very first time when I shared about my journey, I told you about the International Youth Leadership Program. So IYLP has now advanced to the 5th cohort. So thanks to JJ being my very first mentor, the first person that opened this door for me to see what Tzu Chi can be done and what can we contribute in this space too. Then moving forward, why brother introduced me from Taiwan? Because previously I was also the youth representative of Tzu Chi CEO office to the UN. So that time I worked very closely with brother Sean, especially on how we could work together to pool resources, to bring in manpowers in the Asia Pacific region. So if today we want to go to UN conferences, we will not just have the same face over and over again, but with my knowledge of Tzu Chi being just in this space for 3 years, I'll rather conveniently seek from someone who are more experienced than I do. So then he became one part of my journey. Then slowly, the 3rd chapter of my life is when I transitioned from a volunteer to become a staff. So I now work very closely with Sister Chun Chun, and she is also heading the global partnerships in the Asia Pacific region. So how their transitions and how their life journey actually become a guidance or become a reference for me of, so what are the Tzu Chi nowadays, or what are the Tzu Chi youth nowadays are looking forward to? What are the secret sauce from the senior volunteers that keeps them moving and keeps them going? Why they devoted their life for 30 years? And why didn't they spend their time somewhere else? So that's where I can get a direct reference right in front of my eyes whenever we want to bring in the essence of Tzu Chi as we go. So moving on, I want to also take the opportunity to share that we are not working on our things just in the silo mode or just within ourselves. Time to time, as frequent as possible, we also cross with the GPYD team. So GPYD stands for the Global Partnerships and Youth Development Team that consists of staff members in Taiwan as well as in the US. So we do have strategy meeting whenever we get to see each other to talk about what our roadmaps are and what are our action plans. There are so many invitations, so many events going on, which ones we want to prioritize and where do we want to move the head counts and to what extent we want to present ourselves. What is the positioning? Because if today we have only 3 minutes or 5 minutes to introduce Tzu, we can't say the 4 missions and 8 footprints. But we first want to know who are we meeting with, and we want to be very specific about what we want to talk. So having a back-end team who intentionally set together, close ourselves in the room for 3 days to think about, to churn out what are the best way to bring out the Tzu Chi's essence so that we can package it in a way that is relevant to the society, it's understandable by the mainstream platform. So just want to share with you, this is one of the lens. And then, of course, we do not just talk. We also go to the ground without making a big present or a big hoo-ha. Low-key, we do some visits too. So for example, we managed to visit the Sabah statelessness together with Sister Ying. So if you do not know her yet, she is one of the backbone behind many of the papers, many of the curations, and the opportunities that we get together with our partners. So she served as a humanitarian relief project specialist for GPYD, meaning to say sometimes she will write on the grants to see if there's any opportunity that we can match, or if there are like-minded organizations that want to learn about Tzu Chi's work. So if we just read on news, look at Renjian Puti and look at articles, I don't think we're able to articulate everything. So by the time we really go on site, we're able to describe, wow, how tirelessly the Siku Sipo had to go to the hospital 3 rounds a day just because someone fell from the construction, nobody could help, and Tzu Chi Siku Sipo's contact number are like the hotlines. We see it with our own eyes. And then whenever we have really important meetings, for example, stakeholder like World Bank, we are able to share with them So for example, you can look at the picture at the right-hand side. It's so fresh. It's just 3 weeks ago. So 3 weeks ago, we were at DC having this conversation with the faith engagement lead from the World Bank. They are very curious about, wow, what Tzu Chi's been doing, especially as a faith-based organization for 60 years old. What are the things that we do? So we managed to share, and we're invited to have a dialogue with them. And now we are also wearing a different hat. I will expand a little bit later on. So another hat they are wearing is, when you work with Tzu Chi, you realize that Tzu Chi doesn't work just with Buddhists only. We work across faith, ethnicities, and nationalities. And that is the unique and the beauty of us. Because when you talk about Tzu Chi, you see representative wearing headscarf. You see representative do the greetings by saying Assalamualaikum to begin with. So that is the beauty of how the interfaith thing is actually become one of the strategy or become one of the unique selling points of Tzu Chi, where you don't just work with our own faith, but you work across. Then moving forward, apart from as the staff members, how we want to make sure we pull in the resources and make sure the platforms are always having representative, we also want to include our volunteers, because as we know that volunteers are the majority of the manpowers to drive the movement or to drive the organization. And youth being one of the very important pillar or segment that we want to incubate or we want to invest our time in. So you will be very surprised that also very recently, just a month ago, maybe 3.5 weeks ago to be exact, the Philippines team together with some of the staff members from Taiwan and the volunteers from young volunteers from Singapore, we actually managed to attend the Commission Status of Women. And during the conference, from the UN Youth Affairs Office, they launched the Meaningful Youth Participation Pack. Then what caught the eyes of this youth affairs officer is, wow, it's not the young people here only talking about youth empowerment. In Tzu Chi, you can see a 70 years old also talking about youth empowerment. So this is the beauty of when it's a matter that means to us or important to us, we don't do it in our own segment. We do it all together, all ages, and regardless of your actual title. You can be a deputy CEO, you can be a senior volunteer, and you can be someone very new, but we are working towards the same goal. Then fast forward a week later, exactly right after we went to the World Bank in DC, we managed to connect with the East Asia office. And then we say that, hey, we had a very nice conversation with you in DC. And we also want to take this locally so that it's not just talking up in the air. What can we do at our nearest spot? So if today I'm standing in Tzu Chi, Philippines, in the Manila office, if I go into my radius, say 10 kilometers around us, what are the stakeholders that we have been engaging, and then we can make a connection with, so that it's not so new to them. It feels like, oh yes, you just talked to my colleague a week ago, and let's continue and see what are the things that we can do here, right in our area. So that's why if I can share with you here, I see that this is an important or it's an initiative that why not sometimes we can stay a little bit curious. Initially, just go and find out, oh, our colleagues from the other country, they are doing this. They are doing agriculture. They are doing a run to fund scholarships. If we didn't have this informal conversation, we will not know where they are heading to. I must be frank with you, when we want to introduce them to the Asia Pacific Forum on Sustainable Development, which is one of the biggest events in the regional office for the UN in Bangkok, also in this year, February. We learned that, wow, if today we talk about Tzu Chi Philippines, for us who are very comfortable in Malaysia or in Singapore, maybe our knowledge about them is Typhoon Haiyan and full stop, which Typhoon Haiyan is already more than 10 years ago. If today you ask us, we cannot tell you the details too. So it's only through working with them indirectly, then we realize that, wow, Now different parts of the country have different parts of the deputy CEOs or person in charge, and they have different initiative and different programs. Just now I quoted Sabah statelessness, but it's only until I went to Bangkok with Brother Anton and I realized that, oh, in the Tzu Chi Philippines, they're doing statelessness too. Why didn't we have this conversation together? And why didn't we take the same subject or the same event and brainstorm and see what are the gaps or what are the resources that we are giving each other? So I thought this would be a very interesting conversation to have to see how hard we have been working, but maybe some other things on repeat. This is just one example. And the second thing is, we will never know that we are also working on agriculture in a bigger scale. For example, turning bananas into banana chips, mushroom chips, and also some vocational trainings, some jobs and arts and craft for the women in the Great Love Village. So if it's not because we are organizing event or we are invited to co-organize event, we wouldn't dive deeper or go wide enough to see, hey, if today someone inviting us to talk about sustainability, what can we talk about? If today someone asks us to talk about innovations, actually we have a lot of examples, but we never see it that way because everything has been so holistic. We package it as a story, right? Then when we peel the accessibilities of education, how care economy transform life, then we realize that we have so many informations and so many knowledge or best practices that we could share. So that's why I'm very grateful that some of our stakeholders, which later, right after this, I will introduce some of the partners that have been helping us in this journey, opening the doors for us, because if we really want to go with the natural affinity, I wouldn't say that we'll be able to do the setup so fast and so great. So great in a way, it's not to just, pat on our shoulder and say, wow, you have done a great work. Great in the sense that we finally can hold more hands together and go in the space and do our advocacy. So last year, I believe one of my previous sharing, I talked about the APFSD2, that we brought in Sister Kim Yen from Singapore, a 73-year-old retired head nurse working on the quitting alcohol program. So the same event, we continued the next year, which is this year, and we expanded in the sense that we managed to bring in the speakers from the Philippines, someone who was actually our scholar, which you can see here just behind, and turned into our staff members and started to help others and seeing the gaps in the office and what are the things that we can do together. And then we also see young people, for example, like the one with a handpiece here. She is a very interesting girl, and I believe one of these days we will be able to hear from her too through this sharing. She wears two hats. She has the Tzu Ting hat and she has the IYLP hat in Singapore. So when it comes to exhibitions, so going to spaces like this, we have a few engagement. I believe I shared with everyone in the previous sharing, but I'm happy to recap. So we have associated events, which are the events that we got invited to organize. We also have side events. Side events are the events that we decided that we want to work with some partners. For example, faith organizations, countries, or other civil society organizations that, hey, I care about this topic. Can we work on this together? So those are the side events. So one is invited and one is working together. We invite others, inwards and outwards. And we also have another one, which is called the exhibition. So when it comes to exhibition, we think about if this space is full of people from 53 countries, do we want people to just come here and read poster? Or maybe they can just Google us up, right? So one of the elements that we want to make sure to bring in is interactive, because I definitely believe that through interaction, through sensories, you learn better. Through creativity, you have better memories too. You can remember well about, oh, I learned about the Typhoon Hualien like this. I learned about the flood mitigations in Malaysia that way. And also because we have the privilege of sharing the 静式 furniture, we managed to do a whole set of interactive eco escape model. So that was curated by this girl. When she was curating, she was almost 20 years old, and she just hit 20 years old after the events. So I see that this is a platform for us, not just for those who are very senior, 30 years of experience in Tzu Chi, but also someone so new that wants to make sure that the greatness of Tzu Chi works can be presented in a way that the majority understood, the trend that people can understand, and doesn't lose the essence of Tzu Chi's work. Okay, so moving on, who are the stakeholders that work hand in hand with us? So definitely, I mentioned the keyword interfaith earlier. So when it comes to interfaith, it's so straight away. It's not just ourselves, it's also with like-minded organization who share the faith or faith-inspired organization. We probably have seen in across many of our projects or our missions that we work with Catholics, we work with Islamic communities, we work with Christian communities, and even the Baha'i, many more, so on and so forth. But it's not the same replications from one country or from one region to the other. So to help everyone recap here in this room, Tzu Chi is part of the MFAC, the Multi-Faith Coalitions in the UN and the US. But everything that we have it there, if we want to translate it back to our region here in Asia, it's still a long way to go. So in Asia Pacific as well, Soka Gakkai, together with a few other members, actually founded this coalition back in 2018. It's called the Asia Pacific Faith-Based Coalition. And currently, it's about 7 organizations only. Then, Tzu Chi was very lucky. Just 2 months ago, we got invited to this space. When we got invited to this space, we thought of, yeah, what can we do? Because we are quite new. And if there's anything that we can offer, or we can work together with them, or we can learn from them. Then I realized in just 2 months of interaction, we learned that, wow, World Vision has 30,000 staff members. They are very good in marketing. And whenever we want to think about saving life, the first organization that we can think of is them. And then the way they have their offices are so structured that they have the supporting arm and they also have the fundraising arm, and things are so clear and structured, right? Then we learned that, for example, Joint Learning Initiative, NOR. NOR, before joining JLI, worked with Islamic Relief for 11.5 years. With that experience in Pakistan, he knows Tzu Chi Pakistan more than me. And he was able to help me to bring up some of the points when I got asked about the work that we do. So I rely on partners like them to help me. And then, of course, most importantly, also Hiro from Soka Gakkai. I will be meeting their office just tomorrow. I'm flying off to Japan. And I see that whenever we want a voice, a lens from them, the Japanese Buddhism lens will come right in place. For example, as a discussion, for instance, to share their reflections about a certain topic that we are doing. Then, of course, the lady in the middle, Ying, again, to bring her up, to quote her, I realized that many of our staff members, not just Ying, also Steve and Tiffany, they work so hard every single day with our partners and trying to connect the dots for us, for those who are in the region, for us who are in the local offices, so that connections like this can be useful and partnerships like this can be adding value too. So a bit of the updates. That day when we were introduced to the APFC, it was just a humble text message saying that, hi, I will be going to the APFSD, and if you're around, let's meet up. It was just as simple as that. Then it was totally a surprise that by the time we want to have an informal get-together, we realize these are the people where you see holding hands. 70% of us are in this room. Some of them are outside having their own meetings. Those of us are representing the faith-based organization. And it was never a scene like this since many years ago, especially after the pandemic. It surprised Soka Gakkai so much that they realized that Tzu Chi has this pattern, or Tzu Chi has this ability to replicate. So because of this, starting from Ashley, where we have only 3 or 4 persons attending the same conference, we slowly expanded to 12 to 18. And like-minded organizations like Baha'i International, also having organization or branches in many countries, they look at us and they realize that they could do the same. So this year, after we brought them together to the space last year, they expanded their team too, from 3 persons to 15. So let's do the mathematics. If we have 18, they have 15, and the rest of the organization who already have their existing presence, we add up, become like a meeting room space. It didn't ring a bell to me until when we have an informal sitting like this upstairs, and we got a complaint like, hey, you didn't book a meeting room. This is illegal, you know? And we didn't know that it would be that much of us. So after learning about this engagement and learning about the vision that we all share, I realized that the interfaith organizations are one of the very important stakeholders that we can work very hand in hand with them, and we can hold their hands because we have different target audiences. We have the same cause that we are advocating for, and we want to do good and we want to add value. I always say that 1 + 1 should be more than 2. So with them, it's definitely possible. And I just want to assure it to you. And I also hope that by the time you see them, you cross paths with them, it will not be, oh, I didn't know about this. Maybe some of our team members work with you, but I have no idea about this. I hope as much as I can to share with you and to let you know who we are working with, to introduce you, so that whenever you see them, you have a bit of knowledge, or you have a memory about their engagements with us. So this is the full glam to have you to give you a look of who are they in the room. So we have the world visions and the Baha'i is spread across, and we have here the Soka Gakkai, and where is Pax Romana? Pax Romana is here, and we have Wahid Foundation here. So we hope that one day you will be joining us in this family portrait with our interfaith friends. And I want to expand extra time to talk about Baha'i International Community. This organization is so close to our heart in a way that whenever we have a meeting in the US, we will use their meeting room or they will use ours. The tendency of us using their space is much higher. And the trust that they have for us, especially the lady here in the middle, her name is Destia. She's based in Jakarta and heading the regional office of Baha'i International Community. Wherever Tzu Chi is, she will try to go. And wherever that the space that Tzu Chi hasn't been there, she will bring us together. I want to give you one example here in Singapore. So last year was Tzu Chi's first time attending a Singaporean-owned event. It's called the International Conference of Cohesive Society. And it comes with all the interfaith representatives, with different beliefs and also different practices, people who are working on peace building and peacekeeping. When I told them that, yeah, it's Tzu Chi's first time here, many of them got shocked. Like, how come you are here for 30 years and why is this your first time? And you will be even more shocked that the person who introduced us are not the organization who share the same faith with us, but in fact, a different faith who was there sitting with me throughout the 3 days to make sure that I don't feel very awkward in the room and help me introduce to other person so that they can recognize us right away. Or we call it tee up. So faith leaders or faith organizations like this are very important path openers for us. And in this picture particularly, why do we have this group photo? It was to learn that Sister Sally from Tzu Philippines came out with a question. She asked, are we the only organization that has volunteers? And what about other organizations? How they manage their volunteers? So this is how we spark a conversation, and immediately she put us in a meeting room during the reception and walked us through the differences and how they handle. This is exactly the same organizers or organization, but a year ago. I believe I have shared this photograph before, but this indeed is still one of the most memorable one that we have. So Baha'i International Community last year, during their New Year, actually invited Siti for a dinner. And it was out of our comfort zone, not really out of our comfort zone. I should put it this way. I think we should say that we felt too comfortable that we just walk into their space like our home. And all of us decided that we would just go and show up without bringing a small gift or without doing anything. Then by the time we arrived and we realized that even they are the hosts, the numbers of us were more than them and our delegates were outshine them too. But it turns out to be one of the most engaging and the most memorable event that we share. And that is quoted by Sister Brenda, because that is something that is so natural, so close to our heart that we don't need to be always in high alert mode, just like when we are having a meeting. So you can see that we actually interacted with them wherever we go. They even come down to Malaysia whenever the programs that we are attending to. Then another stakeholders that I want to introduce, let me check the time. Oh, it's already 8 o'clock. Brother, do I still have time or I should
Yeah,
stop
please,
here?
please continue. Yeah,
Please
maybe another
continue.
5 more minutes. Yeah.
Sure, thank you. So the next stakeholder that I want to introduce is the UN SCAP. So UN SCAP, like what I mentioned earlier, is the regional office. So the regional office, of course, they attend many stakeholders, the international organization, the member state, of course, civil society organization like us. So Tzu Chi has the ECOSOC accreditation since 2010. So it's been 16 years since we get to go to the UN as one of the representative. I want to bring a good news to everyone now. So nowadays, they could recognize Tzu Chi coming from different countries because we continuously attend event and always show up in front of them and even cross invitation for them to come to our spaces. If we have sisters or brothers in Penang, you realize that very recently you helped us hosted one of the UN staff who just happened to be in Penang for 5 days. And we also invited some of them to Hualien actually to learn about Tzu Chi's work too. Here, I want to highlight a person, which is Juliet. So Juliet was introduced to us through indirectly through a person with disable from Singapore. And you might be very surprised that a person with disability from the civil society organization could link us up to the UN. And before I got to know her, I remember somewhere on the 2nd of July back in 2024, I was thinking, yes, we have this side event coming up together in the US and we do not have a confirmed speaker. How can we send an invitation? We know no one. How am I going to knock this door? Because you need people to open the door. You can't just knock outside blindly, right? So the man in the wheelchair is actually the chairperson of the ASEAN Disability Forum and also the International Disability Alliance Treasurer, Mr. Lim. So Mr. Lim saw me coming back from Sabah and asking me, so where are you heading to? What's next for you? And I said, I have this event coming up like in less than 10 days and I cannot find a speaker from the UN. And I really hope that we can have their voice. So he just gave me an email address and said, you know what, send an email there and I will help you to ask around. And voila, a week later, we have Juliet coming into Tzu Chi Center in New York. It's not about her coming. I would say that it's also about how she would help us, or how she would willing to come to our space to see our work, so that she knows what are the resources and what are the partners or what are the divisions that she can connect us to. So long story short, after we got to know her and having a dialogue together, of course, indirectly, when you come to Tzu Chi space, the 四姑四婆不会放过你 without telling you the formations and 8 footprints. So after the series of introduction, in-depth introduction right away by 四姑四婆 from Tzu Chi Center, USA, New York, a month later, she connected us with the divisions who are working on youth. That is why Tzu Chi has a partnership with UN on the Climaton Generation Hope Goals. And that's also right after that, just a few months later, we got connected again by the programs called the SDG Story Exchange. Meaning to say everyone is like a living book. So because of that affinity, she has more reassurance of Tzu Chi present in the Asia Pacific region, and we continue that partnership from 2024 even until today. And not just during a big event we will talk to each other, we actually communicate almost every month indirectly with her and also with her office. I see that to maintain the partnership is not just myself or our team or the GPYD, but it will be very beautiful to start seeing that all our internal stakeholders, I call you the internal stakeholders, also learn about them. So that by the time you meet them, you know already that we have already a chapter with them and you do not need to start from new. I hope that I can also quickly bring you to one more stakeholder. Let me skip my slide to this one. And this is also very important for us. Yes, let me show you this too. So just now I told you about after meeting Juliet, we got into this. This is Generation Hope Goals. Some of you from KL have learned that last year, Tzu Chi Kapong has a representative team made it to the top 5. And we continue as one of the organizers alongside with Save the Children and Child Fund. So 3 of us are international organization or global NGO, then together with the UN division. As an associated event, meaning to say you get published officially from the UN website about this partnership and this event. And today are very fortunate that we have 2 of these this year. Then another organization that I hope we will take a look, since many of us are actually in Malaysia, is Urbanist Malaysia. They are also they are the federal agency from the Ministry of Local Housing or KPKT. So Madam Noliza and Dr. Asmi, they are the powerhouse, the CEO and the deputy CEO of this organization, and also the same affinity that we have friends and family from Tzu Chi Center USA helping us to host them so that we're able to bring it back to the region as well as to the local. So long story short, as an invitation to all of us who are in Malaysia, the Urbanist Malaysia, the word urban, maybe have already helped you to give an idea or tips about what's coming up. So those of you who are in Penang, you have came across with the Malaysia Urban Forum back in 2024, in which you showcase your mobile kitchen. Last year, as Malaysia was the ASEAN chairmanship, so we had the ASEAN Sustainable Urbanization Forum, or ASUF, or the Mayors Forum. It was 3 events all together. So we managed to showcase Jingzi Furniture. They were so kind to us that they said, KLCC, this is the place where everyone will pass through, and I want Tzu Chi to put your stuff here so that everyone get to see it. And then this year, when we have the Generation Hope Goals, we were so fortunate that we could invite her as one of the judges. So she said that, you know what? My upcoming Malaysia Urban Forum is in Johor, and I want exactly this one to be shared or to be organized right there. So now, to give everyone an update, with Johor team, we are now doing not to say a very active conversation, but we have already in mind that this is one of the avenue that we want to go and we want to support. And what are the asks from the Johor team? They want to go into tertiary education. They hope that the city's recycling work can go to the university. But through this, different stakeholders, giving you a little bit of light and opening a little bit of pathway, this is why it made possible. And they also send their staff members to TIA conference for us as well. And yep, that's all. And thank you so much. I will stop here and looking forward for our next discussion.
Yeah, Karen, so much, Sister Huey Yi, yeah, for bringing us, all these wonderful ideas, how we collaborate with all these partners. I think it's so important to tap each other's strength, and through all this networking, is, to me, I'm a contractor, so I think it's like a re-engineering, moving ahead, how we, work together. I think it's important, sometimes. There are so many parties, so many so-called partners, that we can really, work together, truly refreshing and uplifting, And you are so young and you're full of energy, Sister Hui Yi, after hearing from you, really put a spark into this platform, Yeah, Kanan again, Sister Hui Yi, so blessed
Thank
to
you
have
so
you.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. I will drop my email here just
Yeah.
in case we
Sure.
can be helpful.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you for spending the past 1.5 hours with us. I think all your presence means a lot to us. We sincerely hope that all the wonderful sharing has brought insight, fresh inspiration, a little warmth to our weekend. So. Okay, before we close, let us express our deepest gratitude and respect to Buddha and Master Cheng Yen with 3 sincere bow. Please put our palms together. First bow, second bow, and third bow. And then we look forward to seeing everyone again next Saturday. Until then, may we continue to walk the Bodhisattva path with diligence and sincerity, and to nurture more compassion and every step that we can take, So Kanan so much, everyone. Kanan for the journey together. Kanan so much. See you next
Thank you. See you all again.
Bye bye.